No one ever really prepares you for the kind of heartbreak that doesn't come with yelling, betrayal, or some dramatic finale. The real heartbreak sneaks in quietly. In those still, cutting moments when someone you care about gazes at you but no longer truly sees you. I met Emily 5 years ago in a small bookstore cafe. She was sitting by the window, reading the bell jar, sipping a black coffee, wearing a gentle smile that made her seem like calm personified. We ended up talking for 3 straight hours, as if we'd known each other in another lifetime. She had this striking contrast, poised but passionate, warm yet quietly mysterious. I fell for her fast and completely, and I didn't try to stop myself. First, being with her felt like coming home. She would text me randomly just to say she missed me. We'd cook dinner together, fall asleep wrapped in each other's arms, and dance to 90s R&B in the kitchen. She'd rest her head on my chest and whisper, "I feel safest with you." I believed her. That trust, that closeness became the foundation of my life. But it was like a slow leak in a boat. The change happened subtly. No fiery fights, no shocking betrayals. Just a slow drifting apart that was nearly invisible at first. I convinced myself she was just tired, stressed from work. So I tried harder. Cooked her favorite meals, picked her up from the office, left little love notes around the apartment. I didn't want anything extravagant, just closeness. But gradually, she started shrinking from even the smallest gestures. Morning kisses were met with a slight turn of her face. Hugs became hollow. At night, she faced the wall, claiming she wasn't in the mood to talk. I tried to be patient, telling myself to give her space, to not seem needy. But something was off. The silence after dinner, the distant look when I said, "I love you," the absence of casual affection, it all weighed on me. About a month before the final collapse, I tried to confront it. I came home early with takeout and wine. She was on the couch scrolling her phone. I sat next to her and asked gently, "Emily, can we talk?" Her response wasn't angry. It was worse, indifferent. She barely looked up and said, "What now?" I told her I felt like I was losing her, that I couldn't reach her anymore. She shrugged. "I don't know what you want from me right now." That line hit like a punch. I wasn't asking for grand gestures or promises. I just wanted connection, a touch, a laugh, something alive. But it felt like she didn't care enough to try. Still I clung on, maybe out of love, maybe fear, maybe denial. Then came the moment that finally shattered something inside me. It was a quiet Sunday morning. We were supposed to go to her parents' for brunch, something that used to feel joyful. I dressed, shaved, put on the cologne she said made me smell like safety. She looked stunning in her navy blouse as she did her makeup. As we were about to leave, I leaned in for a kiss, a soft, instinctive gesture of love. She stepped back, a little distance forming between us, and said flatly, "Don't kiss me." No explanation, no emotion, like I was a stranger in her space. I froze, hand hanging awkwardly in the air. I didn't ask why. Didn't plead or joke like I normally would. I just nodded, grabbed my keys and left. That was the real ending. Not the words, but everything behind them. The emptiness, the disconnection. I didn't make it to brunch. I drove for hours, heart racing, trying to comprehend what had happened. I ended up at a lookout we'd visited once, where we had laughed and dreamed about our future. Sitting there, I realized I had lost her long before that morning. I just didn't want to admit it. Something inside me shut down, not in anger, not in bitterness, just quietly, irreversibly. I didn't tell her. I didn't have to. My silence spoke volumes. In the days that followed, I stopped trying. No initiating conversations, no reaching for her hand, no gentle touches. I greeted her with a nod instead of a kiss, ate in silence, went to bed as though we were strangers living under the same roof. It wasn't passive, it was deliberate. I no longer waited for her affection. I stopped searching her face for signs she cared. The version of me who had clung desperately, who hoped she'd return, vanished the morning she said, "Don't kiss me." Something unexpected happened. The silence that once suffocated me started feeling like clarity. Emily noticed. I could sense her watching me cook breakfast, humming while passing by without speaking. I caught her going through my phone, something she'd never done before. Another day, she lingered with her makeup, even for a simple leftover lunch. The change was subtle but clear. She was attempting to reclaim something she hadn't realized was slipping until it was gone. She started doing little things. Cooking the pasta I loved, the one she hadn't made in over a year. I thanked her but stayed guarded. Then she asked if I wanted to go out for brunch like old times. I told her I had plans. Real plans for myself. That Saturday I drove alone, hiked quietly, let the silence settle my thoughts, sat by a lake. And for the first time I wasn't lonely. I was free. It felt like finally exhaling after holding my breath for far too long. When I got back that night, she was on the couch, wearing the gray sweater I always told her looked beautiful. A candle flickered on the table. Soft music hummed in the background. It was clear she had tried. She looked up and asked, "Where were you?" Shrugged. "Just out." "With who?" "Just me." She seemed like she wanted to say more, but didn't. And I didn't give her a chance. That had become our rhythm. Her reaching, me remaining still. 2 days later she tried to touch me. I had just stepped out of the shower, towel wrapped around my waist, passing the bed. She reached lightly for my arm. "You smell good," she said. I nodded. "Thanks." Kept moving. That was when the cracks began to show. She started texting me during the day. Simple messages. "Hope your day's going well," or "Want to grab dinner later." I replied politely, but never started the conversations. I let her sit in the silence I had lived in for months. Let her feel that same uncertainty, the same ache of wanting without receiving. Because the truth was, I had already mourned her. The girl I fell in love with had disappeared long before I pulled away. The one who used to sing while cooking, who looked at me like I was her entire world, she was gone. What remained was someone attempting to reconstruct what she had dismantled. Then came the message. It was late. I was in bed, scrolling through my phone. She was in the other room. A notification lit up. "Emily, I miss us." I stared at it. Not out of surprise, but because it confirmed what I had quietly suspected. She finally realized what she had done. She had shut down affection, closed off intimacy, acted cold, yet still expected loyalty. But now it was different. My attention, once ignored, had become something she craved. The next morning she made coffee for both of us. She placed a mug in front of me, sat down, almost whispering, "I know I've been distant. I just want to fix things." I looked at her, truly looked. She was still beautiful, but something was missing, something I couldn't unsee. I smiled gently, took a sip of coffee, then stood, kissed her forehead, the same gentle kiss I had once longed to give, and said, "We'll talk soon." It wasn't a lie. Just not a promise. She was the one waiting now. There's a quiet tragedy in realizing too late that someone who once loved you has stopped waiting. That became her reality. I watched it unfold day by day. Not through fights, but through subtle shifts. She tried. Lighting candles again, wearing the perfume I loved, laughing louder at my stories, touching my arm like we were still us. But each gesture reminded me of what had been lost. The present had died the moment she said, "Don't kiss me." That was the final blow. Still she kept reaching. Long texts full of confessions, apologies, nostalgia. "I don't know why I pushed you away. You were always so good to me. I miss falling asleep next to you." I read them, but I didn't give her what she wanted. My heart wasn't accessible at her convenience anymore. One night, she asked if I'd go out for a drink. I said yes, not hoping but to see it through. We went to the bar where we had our second date. I remembered her first time there. Red dress, sangria in hand, speaking of starting her photography business, effortless laughter. This time same dress, but laugh shaky, strained. Instead of dreams, regrets poured out. Halfway through her drink, she reached for my hand. "I pushed you away because I was scared," she said. "You loved me too deeply. It felt like too much." I didn't pull my hand away, but I didn't hold hers either. "I understand," I said quietly. She leaned in, eyes searching. "I want us back." I looked at her. Emily, I spent months asking if something was wrong and you brushed me off. I tried to reach you and you turned away. Do you remember what you said before brunch that day? She looked down. I do. You said, don't kiss me. Not tiredness, not stress. You said it like closeness to me was unbearable. Tears welled. I didn't mean it like that. I swear I was numb. I didn't realize how far gone I was, but I did. Every time you turned away, avoided my eyes, every kiss you ignored, I still loved you through it all. Her tears fell. I love you, she whispered. I know, I said, but not the way I needed you to. Maybe never. When the check came, I paid. Not to prove anything, but to leave with the dignity I had reclaimed weeks before. That night, she didn't sleep in our bed. I heard her crying in the living room, and it hurt, but not like before. I didn't ache to comfort her. I didn't feel guilty. I just felt done. Over the next week, she tried again. Made breakfast, left notes, suggested therapy. She wanted to repair what she broke, unaware I had already healed on my own. Quietly, 2 weeks later, our final conversation came. On the porch at sunset, I had just returned from a run. She brought 2 glasses of water. I don't know what else to do, she said. I feel like I lost you. I looked at the sky, then at her. You did. Not because you didn't try now, but because you didn't care then. I gave you everything. Love, energy, patience. You didn't lose me in one moment. You let me go a little more each night. You turned away. She stood, walked a few steps, turned back. Is there someone else? No, I said. But there will be. And she won't treat my love as a burden. She won't need reminding to hold on. She swallowed. Are you leaving? I already did. You just didn't notice. I packed slowly that weekend, folded my clothes, left the key, took only what was mine. At the door she stood, mascara smudged, eyes hollow. Please, she whispered. Don't go. I met her gaze, voice steady. I stayed when you didn't want me. Now I've found peace. Don't ask me to return to pain. I walked out. I drove to a friend's cabin by the lake. Alone, free, no buzzing phone, no weight on my chest. I gazed at the stars that night, slept deeply, and woke lighter. She texted the next day, I'm sorry. Please come back. I can't sleep without you. I didn't reply. She called repeatedly. And that was the twist. The woman who once said, don't kiss me, was now begging for the attention she had discarded. I wasn't punishing her. I had simply outgrown the version of myself that waited. She broke something inside me. And when I reclaimed the pieces, I realized I was better off moving toward a life where love is given freely, not extracted through pain. So I walked away, and this time I didn't look back.